And just catching my breath. Gonna start playing the theme song right now. Welcome, everyone, to Playtest Test. I am your excited and nervous Rulelord Pete, but I am very honored to have a couple of incredible guests with me today as contestants for this show, where we are going to be seeing if they know the difference between playtest rules as they were written and rules as they are currently on now. So let's introduce each of our guests. First off, he's the strange and unusual. He's the elemental storm. He'll put the battle in your zoo. It's the creative director of Roll for Combat, Mark Seifter.
Hello!
Next up, she's the queen of no fun, the Black Lotus herself. They control the heart of the cards and they'll send you back to the Shadow Realm. It's Lyz Liddell.
Hey everybody, super happy to be here. Obligatory disclaimer, I am not speaking on behalf of my employer, which is some other game company you've never heard of.
And finally, he'll take your game and remaster it, changing it to his will. Hopefully adding Shunies as a core ancestry race.
This has been a setup.
It's the Rulelord himself, Lyz Loza.
Hello. Hi. I will not comment on Shuni any further, but thanks for having me.
I thought you were the Rulelord.
I am the Rulelord in spirit, but as the director, or Pathfinder's creative director of rules and lore, I think we all know who is really pulling the strings here.
The Rulelord?
Yeah. The
Rulelord? Yeah,
Rulelord,
that's good.
L-O-R-E-D.
Yes.
There we go. There we go.
Oops. Nope. There we go. That's
All
the
right,
right
let's
song.
bring it. I'm so ready for this.
So,
We got this.
welcome and thank you all for being part of this game show. I tried it out one time with one of my very first episodes with Dave of How It's Played, and I thought it was really fun, and I thought that it would be great to bring it to PaizoCon with actual Paizo past and present devs. So, the first question I want to ask, just in case there is anyone out there who's totally ignorant to who you are, is what was your role in the creation of Pathfinder 2e, and what is your current role in the TTRPG sphere? Let's start with you, Lewis.
Well, I came on in 2018 at Paizo, and shortly into my day was told, we're doing a whole new edition. So I didn't have a direct hand in it, but I did end up playtesting the rules before the playtest was out. I was in Mark's game. I made a couple of different characters and tried out the rules, and of course offered my feedback here and there in the creation of the playtest, and of course the finalized Pathfinder 2e rules. And I also contributed a little bit to those original rule books. If you look in the credits, I'm listed there as an editor because I helped the editing team with creating tables or plugging in editing changes and stuff, because well, a lot of work needed to be done and I wanted to help where I could.
A huge lift, and we appreciated it.
Nowadays, I am creative director for rules and lore side. I am kind of overseeing all the rule books that are coming out, and especially the setting material in the Lost Omens books.
Excellent. Next, let's go to Mark.
All right. Yeah, I'm Mark Seifter. I am currently the director of game design at Roll for Combat, making all sorts of books for Pathfinder 2e and also D&D 5th edition. But back in the day when I was hired, it was a little bit before Luis, and they told me, hey, yeah, we're going to be making a new edition, so get ready for that. And then I sure did help make the edition. You can probably see Mark Seifter like Liz has written down on the cover of the things. Also, I killed Luis's character. That's why he wound up with 2 different characters. That is still the only character I've killed in Pathfinder 2e. And Luis, was it the first character you've ever had that died? Is that what I remember? I think I remember.
Yes.
That. Yes.
Yes, which sounds more dramatic than it is. I've only played like 4 characters ever because
Wow.
I'm always the GM. But yes,
Yeah.
Mark, you did kill. You're the only person to ever kill my character, and I will never forget it.
And your character is the only one I've killed in PF2. Even though I did an entire adventure path, my players somehow managed to escape. Though I will admit that I had a little bit of mercy due to my players like really tormenting Linda's fighter by giving her a hero point for agreeing to accept their plan of splitting an ooze into like 32 pieces to attack her and then fireballing, centering it on her.
Wow. Well,
Coincidence.
that sounds like something Luis will never forget and never forgive.
Well, this is your chance to get revenge on me, Luis.
Exactly. And last but not least, one of my favorite people in the world, Liz.
Hello. So I started as a full-time editor at Paizo in 2016. And much like everyone else, I came on board and immediately learned we were making a new edition of the game. And so that was great. I was involved in a lot of the work on the editing team, helping to make sure that the language for the game, starting with Starfinder through the Pathfinder playtest and then into Pathfinder 2nd edition was clear, was understandable, was friendly to new players, that the book was organized in a way that was going to really make sense to people who picked it up and tried to use it. And apparently I was enough of a pain in the butt that they decided I was really doing more development work than just editorial work. And so for the Pathfinder 2nd edition core rulebook, I'm listed as one of the developers, which was way cool. And then apparently I kept doing well enough that I spent a year as a designer for Pathfinder 2nd edition. I worked on the Game Mastery Guide, the Advanced Player's Guide, and Bestiary 3 before I ran away and started working for some little card game out there where I managed some editors, rules folks, and oversee the overall production strategy, which is totally behind the scenes, totally logistics, and totally my jam.
But still very much involved with Pathfinder as I get to be your GM. And I love
That's
every
in
moment
fact
of it.
true. He's only killed my character once in this campaign.
Just
Oh,
once,
okay.
yes.
Just this campaign, though.
I took no pleasure in it, by the way.
To be fair, I killed his character too, so we're even.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. We're on the level now. So
Yeah, we're good. It's good.
this is a game of recall knowledge, essentially, where we're going to go back in time to 2018 when the Pathfinder playtest was being developed, when the idea of a 2nd edition of Pathfinder was something a little controversial for some people and very welcome to others. And I think you guys came out with a great product. And in fact, it was going through many of these rule changes, seeing the difference between the playtest and the finalized version, where you really get to appreciate just how much work went into this, into developing a quality product. This was definitely not your, this is the best idea I got. We're running with it. Who cares? You definitely took the time into the playtest feedback and made the best game possible, I think. So we're going to see if you can tell how that work has actually progressed. Like, is this close enough to what is really written, or is this different enough where you recognize it as playtest material? So, the rules are simple. I've been told that we do not have... There we go.
Oh no.
Sorry. Hopefully everyone can hear me now. I forgot to include the audio for that one. So I'll go back over the rules for people who lost the audio for a second. So each of them have cards. The first of them say Pathfinder Playtest on them. These are rules from any Pathfinder playtest from 2018, the Advanced Player's Guide, Rage of Elements, and maybe others. Second card that they have is for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. These are rules as currently written for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. These are the latest print of the rules, meaning they're the rules you're going to see on the Archives of Nethys, on Pathfinder Nexus, and on the 4th printing of the core rulebook, at least before we get that handy-dandy shiny remaster that Luis is working on. The next one is errata. These are rules formerly for Pathfinder 2nd Edition as of the first printing of the book that have since been errated. So you'll be able to find these rules in a 1st edition copy, but not anymore. Finally, just because I decided that I'm going to be a tricky little bastard, I threw in Pathfinder 1st Edition rules as well. These are rules for 1E that maybe seem a little close to what you guys were thinking of when you were coming up with 2nd Edition material.
You're going to tell us something like, we have continuity between the games, Pete.
Secondly, each of you have a hero point, which I was going to show you on the full screen, but I forgot to add audio, so it's hiding there behind Luis. But each of you actually has a hero point where if you really think that you should have gotten that answer right and you're just like kicking yourself, you can change your answer and get a point back. So with that, do you guys have any questions before we test your knowledge? Yes.
Is there any way you can do the magical thing so that we can see the screen too?
Yeah, we used to be able to. Now we can not right now.
Away.
It went
It's
away.
gone.
No.
Also, I want to make sure, but the mechanics is we use the backing, like the sort of backing brown sheet, right? And then it just sort of slides out once everyone's up and it's revealed, right?
Oh man.
And that way,
Yes.
everyone who's watching can also think about what you would have picked and score yourself.
Oh, I didn't
Yes.
get. I forgot to grab that. Oh, I'll get
So
something else.
Hang on. I got a makeup backing sheet. I'm good.
We're good.
We got it.
I am going to read off the rule and then give you all a second to think about it. If you and then as soon as you put up your card showing which one you think it is, that's when I will reveal the final answer. And we'll see which of you gets points and which of you, sadly, doesn't have those same bragging rights. But like any game show, this has prizes. So,
Ooh.
What?
I know. I kept this secret from you guys.
Yeah, we didn't hear about this.
Nobody told me.
So
prizes were in this
I
thing.
have had a very cool contact with Campaign Coins, who gave me 2 pins of the Pathfinder playtest, which I don't think you can get on the Pathfinder or the Paizo store anymore. Maybe you can.
Mm.
But anyway, I got them now, and I will be giving those
Vintage
to the
swag.
second and third place people. First
Alright,
place,
So what does
though,
the first place get?
first place. This one is really special. I first want to give a shout out to a fan, Cody, who sent me a copy of this coin at the exact same time, so I was able to offer this up as a prize. This is something you will not find anywhere else, and that is the Kingmaker Hero Point, which was only able to be gotten through the Kingmaker Kickstarter a couple of years ago. I hope that maybe one day they'll think about putting it on retail, but right now it is a Kickstarter exclusive, so I am very lucky that Campaign Coins sent that to me that I can use as a prize here. And if you are looking for something fancy to wear, especially as we start going back to physical conventions, check out Campaign Coins. They have all of these cool pins for each of the factions for Pathfinder Society. So when you get your character, wear some swag to rep your colors. So with that, let's get into the game. Question 1. Resonance points. Every character has a pool of resonance points. Magic items require you spend resonance points to activate them or wear them. Your RP are equal to your level plus your charisma modifier.
How? Oh man, see, the editor's gonna ask, like, are we going for intent or exact wording?
Looks like Mark and Luis have an idea.
Oh, but Pete's not answering my question. Okay,
Mm-mm.
I'm going for exact wording here.
Exact wording. All right. 3, 2, 1. Show him. That's right. It's with the Pathfinder playtest. That was, I remember something from the playtest that was very frustrating, and I was glad it got discontinued, though. I think it still kind of exists with investing. Is that right?
Sort of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like resonance was a very intriguing idea that was just too far away from what people were expecting, but that when Logan proposed it, it was one of the few ways to deal with the enormous problem with consumable items when the value of like a second level consumable is like basically 0 at 18th level in gold pieces. Having a different currency or limiter is actually pretty awesome, but it just didn't gel with anybody, so it
Yeah.
didn't make it.
There's a lot of things that I've seen people check out from the playtest nowadays that are like, maybe the current audience would be more interested in it. But the people who were playtesting at the time, I think, didn't take to resonance points. But
Not ready
Yeah.
for it.
Never know. Maybe 3E. We'll see something like that.
Just too basic for that awesome idea. Well, congratulations. Each of you gets 1 point towards getting that fancy campaign coin.
Even if we get no more points after this, we at least know that we got 1.
I know.
That's right. Success.
3-way tie. Second
Stop
question.
now, and we don't know what will happen.
That's right, we're done.
I was gonna say we can agree to quit right now and
End
split
it
the
right
coin
now.
between.
The judgment of Solomon. Just chop the coin into thirds.
Or is this we're just gonna mail it back and forth? You get it for the next 4 months, and we mail it to Mark.
Flanking. When you and an ally are flanking a foe, it has a harder time defending against you. A creature is flat-footed, taking a -2 penalty to AC to melee attacks from creatures that are flanking it. To flank a foe, you and your ally must be on opposite sides of a creature, line drawn between the center of the space, blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Gotta find the right one. Got too many options here, Pete.
Have we reached the point in the quiz where I should be making sure I'm not overthinking things, or is it fine to start overthinking already?
I started overthinking it on the first question.
Yep. Trust your gut. Let the force guide you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Show them. Ooh. Got a difference in answer this time. Who's right? Pathfinder 2nd edition rules.
Wah, wah.
Key to why
Sorry,
it was
Liz.
not errata is because it very specifically indicated you had to have out those melee weapons and such.
Exactly.
If it didn't say that, it would have been from a previous printing.
Yes, that was one of the bits of errata. That it was a little too vague about ranged attacks.
Yep. Now it would have been trickier if you put in the original version that didn't have that line. I think you might have still tricked me into putting the regular Pathfinder one, but maybe not.
The game has only just begun, Mark.
Uh-huh. It's a warm-up.
Question 3. A free action. Unless stated otherwise in the action's description, a free action can be taken on only your turn. Theoretically, you can take as many free actions in a turn as you wish, though the GM may apply reasonable limitations on free actions. For instance, although speaking is a free action, since a round is only 6 seconds in length, your GM might stop you from spouting off a long diatribe during your turn, or between turns. And you may even rule that if you are casting a rather complex spell with a verbal component, you aren't able to verbally warn your companions of some danger that you notice they do. Typically, this limitation shouldn't be applied to reloading ranged weapons as a free action. All right, and let's see them. Oh, answers all over the board. This is a Pathfinder 1st edition rule. Actually got it from Pathfinder Unchained, where many 2nd edition rules seem to kind of be cropping up in different ideas.
I think I specifically remember that there's a lack of calling out speaking as a free action in 2E.
Yes.
And that's what I'm like, I know where this is from.
Yeah, there's the combat banter instead.
Yeah.
Right. Combat banter, which is not a free action. Plus, it says, unless otherwise stated, it can only be taken on your turn, whereas free actions with triggers in 2E can always be taken when the trigger happens, whether or not it's otherwise stated. And reloading ranged weapons is like kind of part of what you're doing, the ones that are like that don't cost an action.
Exactly. This is the free action.
That would be the 2S.
words
Yes,
as
use
it
the
is
symbol.
right now.
Yep.
You know, maybe I should have studied for this test.
It's easy not to know the rules when you're a player. It's your GM who's doing all of the knowledge for you. Next question. Implements empowerment. This is something from the Thaumaturge. The power of your implement can also be turned to the more common task of combat. Its power added to and amplifying the effects of runes and other magical empowerments. When you strike, you can trace mystic patterns with an implement you're holding to empower the strike, causing it to deal 2 additional damage per weapon damage dice. Channeling the power requires full use of your hands. You don't gain the benefit of implement's empowerment if you're holding anything in either hand other than a single one-handed weapon. Other implements, or esoterica, and you must be holding at least one implement to gain the benefit.
This is very rude. This is a very mean question.
This does seem like a mean question.
This is
there
tough.
Yeah.
This
It's
is
like
especially tough
it
for me
seems
because
so easy that I don't think it's it's like it can't possibly be right.
this text changed so many times, and now I have to think.
Yeah.
I am frankly shocked that I am making you guys have to think. This is my plan, it's working. All right. Looks like Luis is
Okay.
ready. Liz is going for it. Mark's ready.
Going for it.
3,
I'm really
2,
uncertain of this.
1. Let's see him.
Oh, 3 different answers.
3 different answers, and Mark is correct. This is the
It was
rules.
definitely
as written.
either the playtest or the final, but I went with the final in the end.
You chose.
I was really
wisely.
unsure. I think that the playtest version had something else that specifically told you what to do if you had a weapon implement or something like that.
Yes. This is the language of the playtest, which I'm not going to read the whole thing. Those of you who are watching this later can pause and check the differences. It is shockingly similar, though, to the version that ended up being published. Just more a couple of wording changes.
It talks about tracing the pattern with the weapon specifically, which I remembered being removed, I thought.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's more specific. This looks like someone has said you can't just say your hand, you have to have full use of your hands because that's not rules bearing, and someone said you need to use a free hand.
Yeah. Next question. Key strike. You focus your key into magical attacks, make an unarmed strike or flurry of blows. This doesn't change the limit on using flurry of blows once per round. The strike or strikes get a +1 conditional bonus to attack rolls and deal 1d6 extra damage. This damage can be any type of the following of your choice, chosen each time you strike. Force, lawful, negative, or positive. Though I know lawful will be going away pretty soon based off of the remaster feedback. All right, we got Liz, Luis, and Mark. Liz is pondering. All right, ready, and let's see him. What? In fact, this is the Pathfinder playtest. Good job.
That's a conditional bonus.
The conditional,
so
yes.
That's
Yes!
why I put it up almost right away from the conditional bonus.
All right, so Liz, is that you using one of those hero points?
Let's go with yes.
Yes.
We'll go with yes for that.
All right, so I'll add an extra.
You took a risk because your hero point could have automatically given you the point, but you instead went with what I said. It could have been wrong.
I know. Yeah, well, that's how rerolls work, right? Sometimes you roll worse.
Question 6. Oh yeah, this is the current or the current
It's a status
language.
bonus now.
Question 6. Wounded. A character above her critical threshold, 1/4 of her maximum hit points, but at or below 1/2 of her maximum hit points is wounded. She takes a -2 penalty on all attacks, rolls, saving throws, skill checks, and ability checks, as well as to AC and caster level. All right, these answers went up pretty fast, so I think we have another 3-way. Let's see. 3, 2, 1. Let's see them. That is Pathfinder First
Oh
Edition.
no, that's the wrong card. Crap! I'm bad at this.
Okay.
Are those the
hang
stamina
on,
rules from
hang on.
Unchained?
Yeah, or no, they're the gritty wounded rules for
Hmm.
Unchained. I know
Yes.
because I had to write them. That was like one of the first sections that I wound up doing.
Indeed.
Because they were like, we want to have these and we don't from freelance. So you write them, Mark.
Yeah, Pathfinder Unchained introduced a varying wounded system with the gritty rules that have since turned into the wounded condition players know and love to be in today.
I wouldn't say they're that. They're like they have that much of an origin story, but it is kind of
Yeah,
cool.
they kind of
that
just
both
happen to use the
say
same
wounded.
word.
Yeah, they happen to use the same word, but yeah, that was just sort of the
Yeah.
death spirally gritty thing for people who wanted that. Whereas wounded in PF2 is like an important way to stop like Jack in the Box healing situations that you can sometimes have in those kind of dying systems.
Right. Next question. Bleed damage. Another special type of physical damage is bleed damage. This is persistent damage that represents loss of blood. As such, it has no effect on non-living creatures or living creatures that don't need blood to live. Weaknesses and resistances to physical damage apply. Oh, Mark actually has to think about this one. I can see the gears going in all three of their heads. Is a word missing? Is there too many words? This seems really close. What
I'm
could
just
it
trusting
be?
my gut at this point. Go with my first instinct.
I gotta
Alright.
check to make sure I'm actually using the right card because apparently that's what's gonna kill me here.
All right, and 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I just have to put it up.
Errata Pathfinder. This is Errata.
It is
Liz!
errata.
You got
I was
it.
gonna change it at the last second, but I didn't because the thing about non-living creatures, right? Because vampires still bleed.
The
Yep.
thing that was specifically added was bleed
okay.
damage ends automatically if you're
That's
healed to
right,
full hit
yeah.
points.
Hmm.
That's right.
I remember tapping that errata in, and I couldn't remember exactly what we changed, but I remember when we were doing the huge first batch of errata to the core rulebook that some of these were very challenging to copy fit, and so
Oh
some
my
of them
gosh.
I remember only because I was trying to figure out how to get the words on the page.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had to take that after you did them and do another pass on all of them.
Do another round. I know. I'm sorry.
After
There's
you
no room
left.
left.
And so that's why I was like, is this the one after we made the changes or before we made the changes? And I knew that it got eroded. I just wasn't sure which one it was.
Somewhere in there. Question 8. Attack of opportunity trigger. A creature within your reach uses a manipulate action or a move action, makes a ranged strike, or leaves a square during a move action it's using. Make a melee strike against the triggering creature at a -2 penalty. If the attack hits and the trigger was a manipulate action, you disrupt that action. The strike doesn't count towards your multiple attack penalty, and your multiple attack penalty doesn't apply to it.
Oh man.
And you play a fighter in our game, Liz.
No, I don't. I'm a barbarian.
You're a
I just got
barbarian?
attack
Oh,
of
that's right, but-
opportunity this level, dude. I haven't
Oh,
even gotten to
that's
use it yet. Yeah, I know what I'm looking at, but I don't know if it's gonna be right.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's see them. Playtest. It is
It's that -2
playtest.
penalty.
Exactly.
Like, ooh, untyped penalties. Oh.
I gotta say, as GM, I kind of would have liked leaving that in there, but I totally get why it's more fun for players just to be able to do that full big attack.
Definitely less punishing back in the playtest with more reactions had the -2 so that they were less likely to ruin your day. But yeah, players like to hit.
Yeah.
They don't like getting hit by the other people's attacks opportunity,
No.
but they like
Yeah, I think that's one of
Yeah.
those things where like you don't like getting hit no matter what, but like
True.
the feel good of being able to do things well yourself outweighs the feel bad of when it happens to you. And I think it balances out based on the fact that not everyone can make an attack of opportunity anymore, and most opponents, most creatures don't have as an innate ability. Makes that feel bad really like way less.
Yeah.
As a GM who has run plenty of encounters with foes with attack of opportunity, it still feels good on my side. So yeah, I'm glad that we dropped the minus 2.
Luis, bringing the GM perspective.
Yeah. My favorite kind of people. All right. Next question. Awarding hero points. Each character begins play with 1 hero point regardless of her level. In addition, whenever a character gains level, she earns an additional hero point. Aside from these basic rules, awarding additional hero points is up to the GM. The following options are just some of the way that a GM might award additional hero points. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's see it. First edition, and playtest. That is, in fact, first edition, another one from
Yay!
Pathfinder Unchained. Good
Unchained.
job, Mark. And
Yeah, wasn't it even in Advanced Player's Guide?
It was in
those,
Advanced Player's
those
Guide
old
first.
Heroes points. They with the absolutely horrible for hoarders like me of consumables, where it's just like you'll never get this back. You better never use it. But even in the playtest, we gave you ones that were use it or lose it.
yeah,
The other thing that really trips the difference between those. Maybe I should hold on to my spoilers for later.
I think I know what you're talking about.
the strategy
Yeah,
at the end.
we switched over to using singular they,
Mhm.
starting with the Pathfinder playtest. So if you're seeing gendered pronouns, you're seeing something from first edition.
Yep.
That's a
Also,
good
if
clue.
you see May in it, it could have gotten in to a later thing, but May was used a lot more often in first edition instead of Might.
We pretty much scrubbed out May.
Yeah,
Some of them slipped through. One of the ones I think even in this contest so far that wasn't Pathfinder first wound up having May, and that threw me for a loop a little bit, but they're mostly gone.
Most of them are gone. Yeah.
and I'll give one last reminder to the GMs out there: hand out hero points at least once per level.
Your
Do
players
part.
love it.
Set a timer. That's what I do.
That's a good
Question
idea.
10. Fatigued. You're tired and can't summon much energy. You take a -1 penalty to AC and saving throws. You can't use exploration activities performed while traveling, such as listed in the exploration activities section. You recover from fatigue after a full night's rest.
I'm tired and can't summon much energy. Does that count?
You could.
I have discovered that there is a coffee with rules in I think it's a core, but definitely
The
in treasure.
Game Mastery Guide.
Game
Game
Master.
Master Guide.
It's under the
yeah.
drug
I wrote
section.
that. Yeah.
And there's a very, very
know what I did.
powerful one in Treasure Vault too.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's see it. Errata, and can you hold that up? I think it's Pathfinder, Mark. Yes.
Yes.
This is Pathfinder rules as written.
Wow, you're right. Nice job, Mark. Is
I
there
didn't
really a
think that one
typo
about
in the
it.
printed version? Such as listed?
So
Such as those.
yeah.
Yes. Just a tiny little bit of change, but still an essential one.
See?
Confused. Now we have a mini game.
Oh, all right. Here we go. I'm ready.
This is an opportunity for some of you to maybe catch up a little bit. So, this is called Who's That Aberration? All you have to do for
Let's
this
bring it.
is I am going to show a blacked out version of a different aberration. Whoever is the first person to tell me the aberration's name and or level will get a point, which means that you
Wait,
can
and or
and or. So you could get a
5%
point.
chance.
You can get a point for the name, and you could get a point for a level, which means that someone has a chance of getting 2 points, or 2 people have a chance at getting 1 point.
Or we all
And
have a chance
presumably
of
if you
getting
say-
0 points.
If you say the wrong answer, presumably you're out for it, right? Like you can't just be like, oh, here's an aberration. -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
If
10,
you start
11.
listing the aberrations alphabetically, you will have a bad time.
We start with a kata.
Here's our first one.
Nice.
Who's that aberration?
Oh, it's the Give me a minute. I want to say Yggdrasil. That's not right.
Oh,
Not
gosh,
Yawgmoth.
yeah.
That's in my current game.
5, 4.
Yithian.
Thank you.
What was it, Lewis?
I said Yithian. I don't know if that's right.
It is the Yithian!
It is
Yeah.
Good work.
It's level 8. That's my guess.
It is actually.
Hold
level
on, we
9.
should all say a number.
Yeah, they should all.
Right?
Oh.
Oh,
But-
spoilers.
Spoilers. Who's that
so.
aberration?
Go Gageth.
Yes, Gogateth.
Gogateth. Oh, that's right.
Mark got it.
I got
Gagatech.
it.
It's
Hey,
level 11, I'll say.
Any other level guesses?
14.
Level 6.
It is a level 12 monster.
Oh, I was off by
Mm.
1. I knew
All
it was
wrong.
11 or 12. But I didn't want
Look
to
at
give
those
that
eyeballs.
away.
Who's that aberration?
Oh.
Is it a blood painter?
No.
Okay, fine.
Look at those bones sticking out of it.
I
It's
guess.
it's like a
5.
Looks like some level 7 creature.
4.
I'll say it's level
3, 2, 1.
level 14.
What level did you say, Mark?
I said 8, and Luis said 7, and Liz said 14.
Is the Irnacurse, a creature that is exclusively made from the cursed flesh of elves.
One of the flesh warps.
Yeah, yeah.
It is a level
Mm.
9 creature.
Oh, so close
So
with my
close.
completely arbitrary guess.
Quellant.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, Quellon, you got it.
All right.
Level
Luis,
14.
you got it. Level guesses?
Liz said
14.
14.
Let's say 13.
13.
10. Level 10.
Level
Like Wheel of Fortune, like
15.
as high as you can go without
15.
Oh,
winning.
15.
Oh,
Close.
curses.
And finally, who's that aberration?
It's a flumph.
Yes, it is a flump.
I heard it from Liz first.
Luis got it first.
Yeah.
Any level guesses?
Level 4.
1?
Mark, I heard level 1. That's right.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Look at that derpy face. Who's a good dog?
It's so cute.
and
And now
sadly,
we
will
go
never
back-
show up in 2E now because of this whole remaster thing.
Oh,
You know, honestly, I have so much confidence in this team to make something that's
you'll make
Better.
something better, just as long as it's cute.
Equally cute and gross.
Exactly.
cute and gross. Yeah.
So now we go back to the questions with downtime checks. Some downtime activities require rolls, typically skill checks, because these rolls represent the culmination of a series of tasks over a long period. Players can't use most abilities or spells that manipulate die rolls, such as activating a magic item to gain a bonus or casting a fortune spell to roll twice. Constant benefits still apply, though, so someone might invest a magic item that gives them a bonus without requiring activation. You might make specific exceptions to this rule if something could apply constantly, or so often that it might be as well be constant, it's more likely to be used for downtime checks. All right, Luis, Mark, Liz, let's see them. Pathfinder, and Playtest. This is errata.
Oh, no.
We're all wrong, but
All
you might
wrong.
be right. Watching, you might have known it was from What that changed?
A tiny little bit. If something could apply constantly or
Oh,
so
of
often
course.
it would be constant, it might as well be likely to be used
Oh my
downtime.
gosh.
I'm the one who put in that thing directly. I mean, not that I like the whole team decided to put it in, but I'm the one who had to actually put it in, and
Mark
I
had to
still
type the
forgot
words.
the, for instance, assurance, because people were like, maybe assurance won't apply because it's a fortunate effect, but it is one that can apply
Yeah.
constantly on every. You could be
Yep.
theoretically using it on all of the subsidiary tasks,
Yeah. Good job, everyone.
or
I-
not good job.
Yeah,
because
Very
not
we all
good
got
job.
it wrong.
Question 12. Step. Your speed is at least 10 feet. You carefully move 5 feet. Unlike most type of movements, stepping doesn't trigger reactions, such as attack of opportunity, based on move actions or on leaving or entering a square. You can't step into difficult terrain or greater terrain.
Is that a typo? Greater difficult terrain? You can't take the editor out of the editor. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I also wanted to know that. Is this exactly as written in the book that you got, or the
Everything
document
on
you got
here
it from?
is copied and pasted.
Okay. Well, in that case,
Hmm.
that
They're all
changes
done.
my answer, I guess. We'll see.
Luis? All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's see him. Errata, and playtest. Interesting. This is from the playtest.
Whoa!
I didn't remember having to errata that mistake, so I assumed it must have been a mistake that was just made it to print in the playtest.
Yeah, one of the notable
but
things
here's
is you
mine,
took
it's
out
like-
greater terrain with the full version.
Wait, no, greater difficult terrain exists. It just
It does, but I think maybe we defined greater difficult terrain
Correct.
as being a subset of difficult terrain.
Exactly.
yes, but that doesn't mean it
Yeah.
doesn't always show up. But yeah, I
Exactly.
thought it might have been the playtest.
The language
Yeah.
specifically
My thought is that we
of
do
step
silent
takes
errata
out
so
greater.
often for things like we forgot to put greater in or difficult in greater difficult terrain. But
No, you're absolutely right, because it would be considered just a change rather than an update. But I still would have had to do something for it. So,
unless it was so early that I did it.
oh, you're right.
Mark
You're
and
right.
I are the errata implementing team for like what 2 years was our jobs.
Question
If
13.
you add us together more than that,
Yeah.
Metamagic. When using a metamagic feat to modify a spell cast from a spell pool, the caster is treated as if he were a spontaneous caster, increasing the casting time to a full round action if applicable. The spell must... Oh, everyone's got answers. Let's see
We
'em.
got it. Here we go.
First, and you are right.
Full round
there's
actions.
full round action. You gotta be pathfinder first.
Excellent job, everyone.
I like that each of us got there in a different way.
Right?
pool, spell
there's
pool.
definitely some
Spell pool,
some
gendered
clicks happening.
pronouns, full round actions.
And this is the full language for Metamagic as it currently is. Question 14. Critical hits. When you make an attack or roll a natural 20, the number on the die is a 20. Or if the result of your attack exceeds the target's AC by 10, you achieve a critical success known as a critical hit. If you critically succeed at a strike, your attack deals double damage. Other attacks, such as a spell attack roll or some athletic skills, describe the specific effect that occurs when their outcomes are critical successes. Liz has an idea.
Just going for it.
Going for
I'm not going
it.
to get any better by thinking about it.
Luis and Mark. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's see them. Pathfinder, playtest, and playtest. This is errata.
Playtest or errata. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was playtest or errata, because it definitely isn't what it currently says.
One of the things was when you make an attack and succeed with a natural 20.
I knew that we changed
And
it to that, but I
succeed.
wasn't sure where we changed it to that.
Yep. I do remember making that change. I would have been while I was handling it. You know, when I read that, I was thinking about the whole thing about how much we had to. If you're ever like, sometimes editors are a pain in your butt. This is what we do. We come back and we say, you can't just say this is a critical hit without explaining what a critical hit is. This, like, people just aren't going to know what that means without being told.
Oh, it makes
So
sense.
somewhere you've got to say this is a critical hit.
Like, it wasn't just editors. Like, some of us on the design team also were like, hold on, this thing about the 20 isn't technically correct because of these corner cases, and others are like, well, this is the first time it's defined though, and it's easier to just say it there and then explain it later in more detail. I was always like, I think that's going to confuse people because they're going to think it's a contradiction.
Editors
You're ever
keep
like,
the
what does game
TTRPG
development
world
look
going.
like? This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Question 15. Heroic recovery. If you have at least one hero point, you can spend all your remaining hero points at the start of your turn, or when your dying value would increase. You lose the dying condition entirely and stabilize with 0 hit points. You don't gain the wound condition or increase its value from losing the dying condition in this way, but if you already had that condition, you don't lose it or decrease its value. Luis, Liz, Mark, let's see it. Pathfinder, Playtest, and Pathfinder. This is Pathfinder rules as written.
Woo!
At least in one of the places where it's written, the one that looks like that anyway.
Yep, this is in first edition. If you have at least one hero point, the thing was you return to 1 hit point no matter how close you are to death, which is interesting because it was correctly written on the player screen, I remember at the time, but not the book.
I just remember it was a giant pain in the butt.
Yeah.
I crossed it out just so that players who are watching this don't get it confused. You don't get that one.
I love it. Clarity.
Question 16. Major Curse. Some of you might recognize this from the Oracle class. You've learned to better balance the conflicting powers wreaking havoc on your body. Immediately after completing the casting of a revelation spell while you're affected by your moderate curse, your curse progresses to its major effect rather than knocking you unconscious. This effect lasts until you refocus or reduce your curse to its minor effect. If you cast a revelation spell while subject to a major curse effect, you fall unconscious as normal for when you are overwhelmed by your curse.
I'm going out on a limb here.
Yeah, I'm pretty unsure about this one too.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's see it. Second, and playtest.
Oh, playtest.
This is from the playtest language.
What did we do with it? All I remember is Logan.
It wasn't changed very much in the final. I honestly almost picked the final one, but I just had a hunch based on the way that the other ones have been going that maybe this one was the playtest.
There's a tiny bit of extra.
Oh, right! It increases your focus pull automatically.
Logan. Characters are allowed to have nice things. I was really mean to the Oracle in the first couple of drafts.
Oh. Question 17. Raging Athlete. Physical obstacles can't hold back your fury. While you're raging, you gain a climb speed and swim speed equal to your land speed. The DC of high jumps and long jumps decreases by 10, and your leap distance increases by 5 feet when you jump horizontally and by 2 feet when you jump vertically. Oh, that's where that is coming from. I'm still in the open table. I need to leave it. Sorry. There we go. All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's see it. Errata and 2 pathfinders. This is errata. Good job, Liz!
Oh my gosh.
Liz. What, do you remember what it was? You probably inputted this one, I guess.
I don't know. I'm just saying there's a Hugh land speed, and we probably fixed it to your.
Here's the language from the errata increase was.
You were right.
Yep.
It was fixed to your.
That's right. And we added some other stuff, but
Yeah.
you know.
A lot of other stuff. Question 18. Mountain stoutness. Your hardiness lets you withstand more punishment than most before going down. Increase your maximum hit points by your level. When you have the dying condition, the DC of your recovery checks is equal to 9 plus your dying value instead of 10 plus your dying value. If you have the toughness feat, the hit points gained from it and this feat are cumulative, and your DC of your recovery checks is equal to 6 plus your dying value.
Just looking at dwarves.
Of
Like
course
2
you
days
have
ago.
been, with
I was
High Helm
looking at
coming out.
mountain stoutness recently as well, just for other feats that give more hit points.
I was specifically refitting Mountain Stoutness in the remaster, so
Oh,
All right.
well then, you
Uh-oh.
could have gotten
Cheating.
confused by the new version that no one else had seen.
I know.
All right, and let's see them. Pathfinder, Pathfinder, and Pathfinder. This is Pathfinder.
yeah.
We're all right.
Except this is a secret remaster preview. I think I tweaked the very first sentence just a little bit and trimmed down the flavor so I could make it all fit.
Oh, okay. So
Oh.
it's a little, dwarves are a little less flavorful in their stoutness now, but it's worth
Yeah.
it.
Maybe they're just stout, and it doesn't have anything to do with mountains anymore.
Exactly.
They're definitely
Maybe they're like mountain skinniness now, so they can fit into the valley between the mountains.
Or instead of saying stoutness, it's stouty.
no. The feat name hasn't changed. It's that very first slide. I think I cut like 4 or 5 words just to make it all squeeze in.
Whoa, that was weird. Question 19. Clue in. Another creature attempts to check to investigate the subject of your open case. You share a bit of information you discovered in your investigation so far with the triggering creature. They gain a circumstance bonus to the triggering check equal to your circumstance bonus on checks to investigate your subject. The GM can add relevant traits to the reaction depending on the situation, such as auditory if you're conveying the information verbally.
Here's a little secret. For a long time, I just wouldn't read the playtests because I'm like, I'll eventually get the full class later. So I'm not worried about it. And now I'm paying for it.
And now it comes back to bite you in the butt. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's see it. Playtest, playtest, playtest. You are right.
It became a lead instead of a subject of your investigation after the playtest.
Exactly.
It becomes a lead you're pursuing.
Yep. Pursue a lead with caps.
Yep.
All right, question 20. Quick alchemy. Use swiftly. Mix up a short-lived alchemical item to use at a moment's notice. You create a single alchemical consumable item of your advanced alchemy level or lower that's in your formula book. Without having to spend your normal monetary cost in the alchemical reagents or needing to attempt a crafting check. This item has the infused trait, but it remains potent only until the start of your next turn. One thing I did notice in doing this was in the playtest and current stuff, the alchemist gets reworked a lot.
Yes.
Turns out alchemy is complicated, yo.
We'll see.
3, 2,
I'm very uncertain about
1.
this.
Let's see it.
3 different answers.
Errata,
No, you
errata,
two
and
both picked
Pathfinder.
errata.
This is current
Oh,
Pathfinder.
Is the
This
final.
is actually how it came
I was
out.
like this. I really think this is the final, but there could be like
I know,
small
it just
things that
keeps
have
changing.
changed. I easily would believe it.
So it was just a very minor change to this, was taking out you create consumable or adding a
Because they're
consumable item.
non-consumable.
Exactly. All right, y'all, we have another mini game. The Aspis
Oh,
no.
this is where the
Consortium
points really come.
is at it again. It's time to find out where in the Inner Sea is Ciradamina Alasbalas. I had to dig deep to find this name. Cyril is one of the Aspis Consortium heads and is going around Galarian causing trouble, but unfortunately all that we have are clues to where she is based on a piece of history about that geographic area.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to get
This is
points
Luis's
here,
area, man.
Yeah, if I do poorly here, I am forced to renounce my title as creative director.
so you can get a point first by naming the region, and another point if you name the territory. So the spot
Oh, difference between region and territory?
region is the big area, like the Eye of
Oh.
Dread, whereas the territory is like the Isle of Terror.
Or
Okay,
Mulfoon,
so
or-
blue
okay.
text versus
Would it
white
be a
text. Big text
nation
versus
or-
little text.
Would it be like on the term of nation or like the name of a city in a nation for territory, or it could be either, and we just have to figure it out?
The small text.
Small text.
Oh.
Big text.
text.
No.
I actually-
small text.
I actually can't read the small text, but I kind of know what most of them are already
It's
because
it's
of knowing this
nations
map.
mostly.
It's
is what it
mostly
is.
nations.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Lake and Carthan maybe isn't a nation. Luis, your cat!
Oh yes, hello.
All right. Here is our first clue. Oh no, Liz is blocking it out a little bit.
Sagalands.
It's not you.
And it's
I'll read it out. Runelord Karzog is defeated by a group of adventurers. Word of Thassalon's mysteries begin to spread throughout the Inner Sea region.
so it's
Varisia!
Sagalands, and it would be in Varisia, yeah.
Need
Uh,
buzzers.
I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
buzzer
We don't,
system
we
here.
don't actually have buzzards. It's hard to do these timed ones. It's easier with the holding things up.
Is actually New Thassalon.
Wait, really? Oh, yeah. I guess the
According to
the
Wayguy.
Kodar Mountains are in what is now New Thassalon and not Varisia, even though it was in Varisia at the time.
Okay.
Mm,
Well, yeah,
Very
that's
tricky.
That's the trick.
Tricky.
Because at the time that announcement spread and he was defeated, it would have been in Varisia. So
Right, because there wasn't a new Thassalon yet.
yes, but on this map, it's now in what is New Thassalon.
Yep.
Trixie.
Yeah.
Next, the Duchy of Alkenstar is founded. Construction of the gunworks
Impossible
begins
land.
with-
Possible lands, yes.
Oh.
And in
Alkenstar.
Alkenstar. Or
So-
Mana Waste. Mana Waste is the thing
Mana
on the
Waste,
thing.
yeah.
Luis got the first one, Mark got the second one. Indeed, she is in the Mana Wastes. Let me add that point. There we go. Next clue. Efforts to reclaim the cities of lost to the whirlwind begin in earnest, but
Broken
soon...
Lands and Sarkora's Scar.
Yep.
Very good, Mark. You've caught up to her yet again.
I'm just waiting for the questions to show up before I answer.
But unfortunately, she gets away once again. The Pale Mountain partially erupts, leaving a massive
Oh,
crater.
Catapesh and Catapesh.
And Golden
Sorry,
Road.
sorry, Golden Road and
Golden
Catapesh.
Road.
Excuse me. I was
There you
confusing Catapesh the
go.
nation with Catapesh the city.
That is correct. She is in the Golden Road in Catapesh. That's 2 points for Luis.
Hey, he said Catapesh and Catapesh, and I said Golden Road.
You're almost.
Yeah, I think Mark should get the Golden Road point.
That's
Golden
fine.
Road.
Alright,
Oh,
this
that's
is
good. A good point.
Old
Mongi
Shalia.
Expanse and
Mongi
Vidrian.
Expanse and
Mongi
Vidrian.
Expanse.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just
Okay.
out. Never mind.
Wait a sec. Colonized people of Sargava overthrow the oppressive government, then fight off a pirate siege from the free captains of the Shackles. Liz, I heard you first. What did you say?
The wrong thing.
The wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Luis was a hair ahead
I'm
of
trying to
me
answer
when
so
he said
fast,
that.
I'm getting them wrong.
Luis, what'd you say?
Mongi Expanse and Vidrian.
Yeah, he got it right.
Amphitryon?
Yeah.
He should, because he's
That
in charge
is
of this shit.
correct.
Yep.
He went and founded the nation of Vidrian. You are
Mhm.
very close to catching up with her. Maybe on this last one, you'll find out where she is.
Maybe she ended up in Blood Cove. Hmm.
The
I don't
Kintargan
know.
Redmond,
Rebellion ends
Washington.
with the death of Lord Mayor
Washington.
Old
Balak.
Cheliax and
Ravenel.
Ravenel.
This time I was slightly ahead of you, whereas last time you were slightly ahead of me.
I
Louis.
heard them both at the same time. I called it a tie.
I think that is a tie.
Interesting story, though. Hell's Rebels was the first adventure path that I edited for
Nice.
for Pathfinder. Is sort of like the start of my journey into being a full time person. I have a lot of love for the Hell's Rebels adventure path because of that.
Me
Yep.
too. It's the last AP I ran as a civilian before joining
Uh-huh.
the Paizo ranks.
I didn't get to edit issue 100 because James Jacobs was so late on his turnover that they couldn't send it to a freelancer. They had to do it in house.
Oh no.
All right. We just have a couple of questions left before figuring out who the winner is of Playtest Test. 21. Determine ability scores. Now that you've made the main mechanical choices about your character, it's time to finalize their ability scores. Do these 3 things. First, make sure you've applied all the ability boosts and ability flaws you've noticed in previous steps from your ancestry background and class. Then apply 4 more ability boosts to your character's ability scores, choosing a different ability score for each and increasing that ability score by 2. Finally, record your starting ability scores and ability modifiers, as determined by Table 1-1 ability modifiers. Remember that each ability boost adds 2 to the base score of 10, and each ability flaw subtracts 2. You should have no ability score lower than 8 or higher than 18.
That second bullet point throws so many people off. So many people forget that we get the 4 free boosts.
Right.
Mhm.
Man, your character would be so bad.
Yeah, a lot of people think their characters are bad.
3, 2, 1. Pathfinder, errata, and playtest.
Oh, we're all different.
All different.
It's the first time we've had all different
What's
answers,
it
isn't
gonna
it?
be? Errata.
Oh my god.
Ah.
Because now there is the alternate rule
Alternative
about
ability boost.
boosts.
Yep.
Oh, sure.
That's right.
Fine.
It's in there now. I don't know about that, Liz. Luis got a lot of points in the mini games.
That's true. When you build a mini game around Luis's job, that's fair.
Yep. Question 22. Key ability. This is the ability score that you'll use to determine the difficulty class associated with your character's class features or feat. This is called your class DC. If your character is of a spellcasting class, the key ability is also used to calculate spell DCs and similar values. Most classes are associated with 1 key ability score, but some require you to choose from 2 options. Additionally, when you choose your character's class, she gains an ability boost in her key ability.
Huh.
See one from Liz. See Mark. Luis. 3, 2, 1. All different again. Interesting.
Yeah, it had a like gendered pronoun instead of they, when it was obviously not. It was TF1, so I just picked the earliest it could be, because if it didn't get caught, it must have gotten caught after the playtest.
Yeah.
And Mark, you would be right.
I remember having
I
a
was
lot
still
of
very
arguments
surprised
about how we refer to characters separately from players.
Yeah, I bet you're right, Liz.
Are we still going off of the iconic at that point?
But that didn't have an iconic, it was just like generic.
But it would have
That's
had
true,
like
yes.
iconic because it's generic.
Yeah, you're right.
It got way expanded.
Yeah,
in
they
the
gained
full version.
Yep.
pronouns, man.
Yeah.
Question 23. We're coming up to the final few questions. Calculating resolve points. When you have a number of resolve points equal to half your character level, rounded down, but minimum of 1, plus the modifier of your key ability score. Even if you have a negative modifier, you always have at least one resolve point. Three, two, one. Lyz, you're right. I was a tricky bastard.
I didn't think that was allowed.
And here I was just trying to be a jackal.
Yeah, we didn't have a thing to put up for Starfinder.
There are resolve point rules. They are very different. They're one of my favorite
Yeah,
abilities.
they didn't seem like they were the correct resolve point rules from the Game Mastery Guide, but I know we never eroded those, and we never play tested them. So if it was any of the choices we had, it had to be that. But it did seem like the Starfinder rules by a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't bring anything to write. I hope this next
Yeah,
one's
neither
not
did
another
I.
one that we have to write down too.
Treat wounds. You spend 10 minutes treating
Oh,
up to
no.
600 living creatures, targeting yourself as one of them, if you so choose. Then attempt a medicine check. The DC is usually the medium DC for the highest level of the patient you're treating, though the GM might adjust the DC due to circumstances such as trying to rest during the volatile weather or when treating magically cursed creatures or wounds. A given creature can be subject to only one treat wounds attempt per 10-minute period, so characters can't treat the same targets wounded simultaneously.
Oh yeah. I know
yeah?
what it is.
All right.
Yeah.
3,
Yep, we got this.
2, 1.
Yeah, come on. Bolstered.
Yeah.
Bolstered is there.
Playtest,
Yeah,
yes,
bolstered.
Bolster.
Exactly.
Plus, it lets you treat a bunch of people without ward medic, and after
It's
after
giving you the
playtest-
wrong amount of healing. It's 2d8
Also,
plus something now.
Calls out a medium DC.
Yes,
The other thing I think was interesting
there's
was
a lot of playtest things.
how you ordered the success, critical success, and critical failure.
That's true. Yep.
That's also
Oh yeah,
true.
yep.
Oh, hold on. I
We
never
had a
used
lot of
my hero
arguments about
point
that.
on this, so I've decided that I couldn't think of what would be a fair way to use it because I just got all of them wrong. But I'm going to use it on the trick question on the grounds that of the 4 answers we were provided, mine was the closest to being.
Okay.
I'm also gonna do that, but just because I don't want to forget to use my hero point.
Yeah, there you go. I always forget. I hoard points.
Important lesson for everyone watching this video. Don't forget to use your hero points.
Exactly.
Lyz is great. Lyz used their hero point way earlier on in this.
Right away.
So
Get it out of the way.
I messed up the slides a little bit. That was question 24.
Oh, no.
This is actual 25.
Oh, we're time traveling. It's cool.
Oh, okay.
This is
The
the
real
final
25.
question of playtest test. But before we go into it, players, what do you want the world to know about where they can find more of you or some kind of project that you might currently be working on? Let's start with Mark.
Sure. So you can find me on various Discords, the Arcane Mark Discord, tiny.cc/Arcane Mark, the also the Roll for Combat Discord. You can find me on Roll for Combat Live, which is a YouTube channel, or the Arcane Mark Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Arcane Mark. Even at Mark Seifter on Twitter, but we all know things are going down with Twitter that are not the greatest. So who knows?
Trying to find a different spot. Yep. Lyz.
Yeah, you can, for all of Twitter's failings, it's kind of the only social media I use anymore. I'm on Twitter at Lyz May Tweet. And if you, I am totally going to brag here for a minute. If you want to see something that I worked on that I'm really heckin' excited about, Magic the Gathering is coming out with a Lord of the Rings set in just a couple of months. And holy moly, it's really, really bleeping cool. Yeah, even despite the fact that, like, it's a thing I did, it's just really cool. So that's a thing you can check out that I worked on.
I want to find that one ring card and become an instant.
You go for it.
You'll have to use your connections with production-based people to help you find it.
No, I cannot comment on that. And man, the number of ways I can't comment on that right now.
Mhm.
And finally, Luis.
I try to keep things easy. I have a website, luisloza.com, and you can go there for links to all my other stuff, so I don't have to try to spell out my usernames for things. Otherwise, it's PaizoCon right now, and if you haven't hit up the
Right.
PaizoCon Discord server, I suggest you do so. Me and
Heck yeah.
the rest of the Paizo staff are having AMA channels. If you have any questions for me, for myself, for Jason Bowman, for James Case, Jenny Jones, everyone that is
Everyone,
on
all
there,
those awesome people.
go check them out. It's your chance to talk to us directly. It's a virtual con. Normally you'd find us at the hotel and ask us questions, but here you can kind of just do so at your
It's a
leisure.
virtual hotel. The chairs are way squishier.
Yes, but you can also virtual hotel from bed or the couch, which is always nice.
Squishier. Don't make it weird.
Yeah, just come on by. I'm happy to answer any questions you have on Pathfinder or anything else, really. I'm happy to answer rules questions, but they're not official answers. They're just what I would rule at my table. So they're not. don't take those as word of God. Or anything.
Luis also is not speaking on behalf of his company.
Do you have any panels they should catch, Luis?
Oh
that are
yeah,
coming?
I'm in a panel tomorrow, Secrets of Galarian. That's at noon Pacific, where you can ask more questions about Galarian and stuff. And we're also previewing some Lost Domain stuff. And then,
Are you going to reveal actual secrets of Galarian? 'Cause
Yes.
As both a fan and an employee who's gone to that panel, I've never seen anything, and I didn't see them all, but I've gone several times and never saw anything that was not like already known from other books that I would consider as
That's
secret.
on the fans, though. If they're not asking the real big, secret, juicy questions, that's on them,
Yeah,
right?
well,
If they
maybe
just want to
so.
know,
No,
like,
they ask
what?
big, secret, juicy questions all the time, and you just
And then
don't
the answers are no comment.
They just want to know where.
I'm
when
happy
to
to answer.
Aridin. That's it.
Yeah,
this
that's
is
what
this
they
is a
always
new
ask.
age for
No
Paizo, in
comment.
which I will answer things that aren't the Aridin question, but are still big, juicy, secret
Oh,
questions.
that's awesome. You should all
like-
watch that panel then.
We talked about who
That's a
the
noon Pacific time tomorrow.
noon
Luis?
Pacific. We gave away like the Crimson Oaths patron last year, for example. That was a
Uh-huh.
Oh
big
wow! Oh,
There you go.
and then
have some
tomorrow,
close ties to that one.
yes, tomorrow I'm also Sunday I'm also doing Into the Darklands, which is talking about High Helm and dwarf stuff and Sky King's Tomb and
Nice.
other stuff. Also at noon Pacific. So there you go.
Hey.
Thanks
So yeah,
for
just tune in
coming
at
by.
noon. You'll get all Luis.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've
all
got
noon.
something on Sunday at 4 Pacific that is like technically not on the PaizoCon schedule because the person who wanted to do it with me was like, I want to do something this weekend. I was like, it's PaizoCon. Go ask like Paizo Marketing. Paizo Marketing was like, it's slightly too late, but we'll do it right after our stuff is over and we'll promote it. So I'm going to be on like DM Layer to talk about like pitfalls when you're just starting Pathfinder 2 or possibly switching from, D&D 5e or some other game that you may fall into, how to avoid them, how to deal with them, and things like that at 4 p.m. Pacific on DM Layer YouTube channel.
Sweet.
I hope that you guys have enjoyed this game show. And if you have enjoyed the game show, viewer, watcher, maybe even listener, I hope that you will also continue to check out my own podcast, Rise of the Rulelords. You can find it anywhere that you get podcasts. I am also anywhere at Rulelord2e. Hopefully finding a different landing site than Twitter, but Twitter's my main spot because I still enjoy the community there, and the Pathfinder community is great there. Also, I am a mod on the R Pathfinder 2e subreddit, where all weekend long we will have a mega thread about PaizoCon. You will see recaps of every spoiler that is released during PaizoCon, probably screenshots of everything, just in case you missed the stream. So make sure that you are subscribed over on our Pathfinder 2e. Now, contestants, we finish off with our final question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
The gnome
Oh no.
flick face. Luis cackling. Category advance, price 3 gold pieces, damage 1, d6, bludgeoning, bulk 1, hands 1, group fail, flail, weapon trait, gnome reach, sweep. More.
Was that like a Freudian slip? Group fail?
Group fail.
More than a flail than a mace, this weapon has a short handle attached to the length of a chain with a ball at the end. The ball is propelled to its reach with the flick of the wrist, the momentum of which brings the ball back to the wielder after the strike. And
They call those things like the board with the rubber ball and the elastic that you like.
pong-
What are those?
pongs? Or, no, I don't actually know what those are called.
Paddle ball.
Yeah, I feel like
Paddle
that's
ball, there you
yeah.
go.
I feel like that's what this is. Boom, bing, bing. Okay.
All
Anyway.
right, they're
Or is
dying.
it a
Let's see
kendama?
those answers. Pathfinder errata. This is Pathfinder first edition or second edition. Because some people thought the gnome flick mace was too strong because of inherent advantages of a one-handed reach weapon. Also been reduced by damage die and bulk and add sweep, so it's functioned more like a flail. Much to the chagrin
Why did it
of
take
all
you
of
to
those
type
power
this?
gamers.
This
Well,
was,
everyone-
some of these were tough, and
These were
some of
some
them,
good questions.
Yes.
some of them were much easier than others. It really varied, but there were some stumpers.
I am glad that I got to fool all of you. I have to admit, I was kind of worried that this might just end up being a three-way tie, but
Oh no way! If anything, the like bonus round was worth a massive number of points and was just based on who could shout it out first. So it was always gonna take
Yeah.
it away from a tie.
always, yep, a little bit. But Mark, you are the winner, so you will be getting this fancy Kingmaker campaign coin with the what's it called? The Jabberwocky on it, and I will be sending Luis and Liz these fancy Pathfinder playtest pins, courtesy of our friends at Campaign Coins. So everyone, I
Good
hope that you
partners.
have enjoyed test. Maybe next year at PaizoCon we'll figure out which stuff was remastered and which stuff was before the remaster, I guess.
Oh boy!
I'm out.
Yeah,
There's
have
no
mercy
way.
on Liz for that one.
I
We have
was.
to get some new contestants next year.
There were a lot of points where I'm like, not how it is anymore. But I didn't want to say it.
You needed a fifth card there, Luis.
Yeah.
For remastered, I mean, you could have written it on like Starfinder.
Well, I can't.
Oh no,
I
it
can't-
wasn't remastered because it's the old one, of course.
Yeah, I can't give away what the
Oh,
changes are
ooh.
quite yet, but there are definitely a
Oh,
couple of times.
spoiler!
I guess it would be
Spoilers.
it would be unmastered if
Yes.
it was,
Unmastered.
and then just it would just say Pathfinder if it was
Demastered.
remastered.
Pathfinder
Demastered.
Demastered.
Liberated.
You
Pathfinder,
open the
maybe-
book and it
maybe let's
says, I
make
can
it-
do whatever I want.
Let's make it less negative and derogatory. We'll call it Pathfinder Experted
Sure.
because it hasn't been mastered yet.
So eventually it'll be legendaried.
Yes, Pathfinder re-legendaried. Announcing now for 2027. Pathfinder re-legendaried.
Please no, we can't go through this again. Give us a couple years.
It's a couple years from now. You have 4 years. Get going.
Yeah. Hey, when's Pathfinder 3rd edition coming out, Luis?
Well, that's all we have time for, folks.
Ask it
Thanks so
See,
much.
this is Golarian. It's not about Golarian, so.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to Play Test.
Thank you
I
so
hope
much
you
for the
enjoyed it.
game. It's a fun time.
It
Yeah.
was a
Yeah,
blast.
thanks
Thanks
for
for
hosting.
running it.
And I hope that you, the listener, will enjoy the rest of PaizoCon 2023. Check out all of the panels and make sure to catch a couple of games on the Paizo Events Discord. But until next session, remember, don't let the rules rule you.